I'm one of your hosts this evening. Tonight we have the joy that is talking to the wonderful people from Disability Rebellion. Now, while I'm doing that quick introduction, I'm going to go to two other places and I'm going to connect us up to them. So, in amongst you guys, you're going to start talking to each other. Siobhan, Sim, you're going to be the consummate hosts while I connect us to Instagram and Facebook. I'll
Good.
see you in a minute.
Good luck.
Yes, good luck.
Good luck. Mike, do you want to start and just share a bit about the group and how it all started, how it all formed? Was it last year?
Yeah, I mean, the Disability Rebellion started last year around the time the government were announcing potential cuts to personal independence payment and universal credit. So the idea was to give people that can't sort of get out to a lot of the protests that were happening at the time, to give them the opportunity to join in with protests via an online media. So during that time we did a lot of online protests, and they were really popular with people, and yeah, it really took off at that time.
And just for those who don't know anything about personal independence payments and universal credit, you just give a brief kind of explanation on both those two benefits.
Are you talking about the Tim's review?
Yeah,
no, there's no pen,
All right.
about PIP and about.
Okay, carry on. Right.
Yeah. I mean, personal independence payment is a payment that people with disabilities or long-term health conditions, chronic illness, or even a terminal illness can get to help them sort of cover extra costs, things like having to pay for additional care needs, having to pay for mobility needs. You can use part of your if you get the mobility component of PIP, you can use that to lease a mobility car, and universal credit is sort of like the general. Well, it is now the main benefit for people that are unemployed, because a lot of the older benefits like job seekers allowance, ESA, income support, they've all been migrated now to universal credit.
Cool. Thank you very much. From my perspective, I've been really enjoying the fact for two things that you've been. You're clearly a grassroots organisation, and two, you're clearly you're quite successful in getting people behind you. So you said that came from the campaign. Can you say a little bit about how you guys got together?
We all kind of met on Twitter.
Right.
Through our joint anger and upset at the cut, and we formed a really tight little family. To be honest, we've really bonded over all this, and we're there whenever anything happens, big or small, in our lives. If we've got anything, we support each other too, and that helps us to support everyone else in our community too.
Brilliant, brilliant. So, Siobhan, do you exist much on the world of Twitter, Siobhan? Oh, you've gone quiet on us. I've lost your sound. That was so good. Your sound worked for a short time, and now it's gone again. Have you? Right, back to you, Sim. While something happens with Siobhan's sound, Sim, do you follow? Are you on Twitter, or is it a toxic cesspit that you would rather avoid?
I try and avoid it if I can. Just over the last few, last kind of several months. I use social media pretty much on a daily basis on Instagram mainly, and yeah, but I know you use X or Twitter
Yeah.
on a daily basis, Chris.
Yeah. So I'll ask both Jessica and Mike and G. I know you're there, G. Is X okay? Is it an okay environment for you guys to be using?
Mike, do you want to go first?
Yeah, it depends. It depends on the day and what's happening on that day. I mean, some days things can be fine on there, and you don't get any flack, you don't get any hassle from any of the bots or the trolls. And then other days, if like there's a headlines, for example, like for example the latest one around the Clean Up Britain campaign.
Yes.
That they're on benefits, doing litter picking 4 hours a week. The amount of hate and that there was and aimed at people on benefits that there was on X at on that day, that day was sort of like a day where you just think to yourself, why am I on it? Why am I reading this?
Yeah.
I was very, very close to leaving Twitter. I refuse to call it X. It's Twitter. It will always be Twitter. Before we started Disability Rebellion, and that is what made me stay, because I realised how big of a community that we did have on there that need our support, and they get hate from those trolls and those bots every single day too. And maybe some people, find it harder to deal with than we do. We've kind of grown, a bit of a resilience to some of the stuff that comes out. But it is still hard, and I still find personally myself having to close it sometimes
Yeah.
because it's hard to ignore.
So are we getting any sound from you, Siobhan? Go on, say hello. Are you hearing us at all?
No, I can hear you. I just don't know if you can hear me.
I can now. Yeah, you're back. Welcome.
I honestly don't know what's going on.
All right.
Technology. Yeah.
Welcome home, Siobhan. It's lovely to see you. So any thoughts on what's been said so far?
Yeah, Twitter, not a fan. Like I said, I've used it years ago, back when it was actually Twitter. But yeah, it just got really toxic. It just became, a place for people to share so much hate. And I know there's obviously some really good stuff too, but for me, it was just like, this is too much, So yeah, I'm not on it, to be honest.
Okay.
I've got
Fair
an
enough.
account still, but I'm never
Yeah.
on it.
Yeah, I just can't relinquish my 36,000 followers. Sorry, Mike, you were saying.
I was just gonna say, Fingers is asking if you can send a link again because she's having trouble connecting to the meeting.
Okay. I didn't. I only sent it to you, Mike. So I don't know if.
Yeah, I'll put it in our WhatsApp group again.
Okay. Is somebody here shaving suddenly? Okay, I'm going to crack on anyway, and we will be fine. So we were talking about Twitter, and how Jessica, you were saying that you just put it down, you just step away from it. How easy is that?
It's not. Sometimes I also fall for the bait, and then I have to delete things that I say that I regret. It's easy. And it's not, being nasty or cruel to people, but it's just answering people back. They don't deserve it. Just ignore.
Yeah.
I mean, it's hard to ignore them, but we find it hard sometimes too, and that's why we have to sort of put the phone down sometimes instead of giving them what they want.
I know, it's hard. Right, I hate to say this, Siobhan, but after having no sound coming from you at all, there's some weird sound coming from your end. So, unless you're saying something, I'm going to put you on mute. Oh, right, nothing at all. Everything's great. You're brilliant. Oh no, you put yourself on mute. Okay, right. Shut my mouth. Okay.
That's what I'm saying. I don't think it's me then, because I've just put.
Oh
myself-
no, it is you. You stopped. Yeah, it did stop when you did that. So we were talking about the litter campaign. Mike, do you want to say a little bit about the litter campaign? I mean, I know they were talking about people on universal credit voluntarily or not voluntarily picking litter. What's the story there?
Yeah, well, yeah, I mean, Clean Up Britain have come out with this 10-point action plan. And, one of their actions was to get people that are claiming universal credit to do 4 hours a month of litter picking or risk losing their entitlement to universal credit. And, the thing that they didn't mention in the blurb that they put out about it was that, there's people with disabilities, there's unpaid carers, there's people that are chronically ill or terminally ill that are claiming universal credit. Are they going to make these people go out and pick up litter 4 hours a month? I mean, some of these people probably couldn't even do 10 minutes, let alone 4 hours. So, it just seems like another one of those sort of clickbait things, and hopefully something that will never come to fruition.
Yeah. I mean, the thing that strikes me is it's very Jeremy Vine.
Mm-hmm.
And it feels like it's. I could bang on about this for hours, but I'm not going to. But I will summarise what I think of this approach to people on universal credit having to pick up litter is you bunch of bastards. Just don't do it. Leave people alone. Okay, I'm going to go to you, Siobhan, if that's all right. I haven't heard from you for a bit. What are your thoughts on picking up litter for your universal credit?
Yeah, I mean it's a bit ridiculous, isn't it?
It is.
People, yeah, they're on universal credit because they can't work because of their disability.
Yeah.
So, like, I mean, there will be people that will be happy to do that, but I think just to expect that that's just what everyone needs to be doing, and it's kind of like, well, you need to work for your benefits. I mean, I'm pretty sure that people would prefer to not be disabled and be able to go to work.
Yeah. It reminds me of Workfare. It was something that we had some idea in the past. Sim, what are you thinking?
Yeah, I'm just thinking about all of the if they try to introduce that scheme in where I'm based, and it would not work for 99.9% of us. Just because
In what way? People with disabilities or
even because the job centre where I am is already inaccessible.
Yeah.
Where you could enter the job centre for your universal credit appointment, and you then have to go up. You have to go up to the top floor of the job centre to have a meeting with your work coach.
Yeah.
And there's no meeting rooms on the ground floor, so if that lift isn't working,
Mm-hmm.
you're basically screwed.
Yeah. Hold
So
on a second. Look, get
if
get
that's
get
not
get on
accessible,
brand. That's no. You're not screwed. You're fucked. It's,
yeah,
this
yeah,
is what the fuck.
okay,
Okay,
yeah,
yeah,
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
It is
yeah.
what, yeah,
What the
it
actual
is like,
fuck?
yeah.
but it,
Yeah.
but it's, but then if they do that, what, and then they introduce that scheme,
Yeah.
it's just, yeah,
So yeah, accessible litter picking. Yeah, I'd love to see that. So Jessica, very often when I'm in this environment, I find it hard not to. There's a phrase I use. I don't want to generate more heat than light. I don't want to go. I don't want this all to be anger.
Yeah.
I want to be informative and educational, and I not want to attack the castle with a pitchfork in one hand and a torch in the other. Is that an easy place for you to walk, or do you find yourself getting angry a lot?
It depends what day it is, and it depends what has come out recently, or let's say it depends what people like Wes Streeton have said about people with autism and ADHD this week. Because times like that you get really, really, really angry, but then there's other times where we look around at the people that we support and the people that message us that need us. And how we've got to stay calm for them. It's like being a parent. I've got a 13-year-old boy who's got autism, and he
Right.
is the absolute light of my life. I
Yeah.
could not do anything without him. And equally, he couldn't really, he needs me as well. And I'm doing this for other people that are like him and me and all of us. And that's what keeps me in the kind of light and loving kind of zone sometimes.
Nice. So that takes us neatly on. Not that I'm leading the witness here. What do you guys want to achieve with what you're doing?
I think it's a lot of it's about making sure that the voices of disabled people are heard, and we're not considered as an afterthought or something that they can bolt onto something at the end of it all. And we're working with other DPOs as well to sort of make sure that message gets across to government and the people that really should be listening to the voices of disabled people. So I think that's sort of like the main thing that we want to achieve is ensuring that people's voices are heard and that they're not just shouting into the void.
Yeah.
So DPO, remind us what that is.
Disabled People's Organisation.
Cool.
It's an organisation where 75% of the people that are in the organisation are disabled.
So, and are the other people involved? Are they carers or allies, or how does that work?
Yeah. I mean, we've got all sorts of people involved. There are
Okay.
there are carers and there are other allies. I mean, for example, Dr. J. I mean, she's I think she's taking a bit of a break from things at the minute, but Dr. J was a great ally. We've got allies in the Canary as well, and across other organisations.
Yeah, just for a moment, I was thinking the Canary Islands. I was thinking this is fantastic.
The opportunity would be nice.
Yes, we'll have an away day there. That sounds cool.
We do as well. I think part of it, just to touch on what Mike was saying about other DPOs, we are trying to sort of make sure that it's not just the voices of we are disabled people, but there are other kind of minority groups that also fall under the disabled umbrella that also suffer, from other kind of. So we are like a whole support network in a way, in just 5 people. But we do our best, and we want to make sure everybody is included and nobody feels left out.
Fantastic. So the feeling is, sorry, I've suddenly developed a cough. Collective action, you feel, is the way ahead for us.
Yeah, I'd say so. Yeah, I think the more of us are, and the louder we shout, the harder it becomes to ignore us.
So, Sim, Siobhan, How do you think what they're doing fits in with what our goals and hopes and dreams are?
Well, I think just starting back to its grassroots is a big thing, isn't
Yeah,
it? You know, because
it is.
that's kind of what we're doing. It's very
Yeah.
from the bottom. I think there's always this, you know, it's always the kind of services that exist out there have always been from kind of top down, and we obviously want to change that because at the end of the day, we're the people that know best about what we need that's going to help us and support us, not them up there who've not got a clue.
No,
So
no.
I think that in itself is the huge thing.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Sim?
I agree with Sean. I think it is grassroots. It's introducing more lived experience practitioners in kind of decision making, and it's because decisions are being made about whether it's the NHS or personal independence payment that affect our lives, and yeah, we don't get a say. And good example is, well, for me, is the Rotor service.
Right.
it's postcode lottery if you have a good Rotor service. The waiting lists now, just for an assessment for a new wheelchair, is 18 months, and that's a good waiting list. So it's
I mean, it does beg the question, what the fuck are you supposed to do in the meantime?
Yeah, I was just thinking that.
Yeah. So, thanks for that. Go back to you guys. That we were talking about this off air, and we were talking about the Tim's review. Mike, Jessica, do you want to make any comments on that and the beauty of co-creation that the Tim's review is?
Yeah.
It's just a farce.
yeah.
It's absolute bullshit. It really is.
Unbelievable. Like, you're the first person that I've heard say that in the past 3 seconds, Jessica. Yeah, yeah. So it's absolute bollocks. Tell us, elaborate. Tell us about the general bollockness of this.
Well, I mean, for a start, if you look at the people that are on the Tim's review, the people that have been chosen to be on the panel, the vast majority of them, if not all of them, are paid professionals. There's no disabled person on there that's unemployed and struggling to get by on PIP and universal credit and what other meager benefits that they can get. And as you say, this whole idea that it's going to be co-produced, I mean, they're already late starting the Tim's review, and he wants it done by sort of August, or basically wants it done before they all go off on the summer holidays, and you just can't co-produce something in that short amount of time.
6 months.
No,
Yeah.
and it's about actually when he is sitting down and occasionally speaking with disabled people. So that's not just a kind of a look what I'm doing, I'm listening, and then he just takes none of it in and walks away, because that can't be,
No.
we know he's held meetings with people up to now with other disabled organisations that disability organisations that we are involved with, but we've got to have the confidence and trust that information is going to be taken away and he's going to put it into practice. But we know that he does not care, so he's never going to produce anything that's ever going to be of any substance for our benefit anyway.
Well, they're not say that basically that even when they've done the review that anything that they found or could change doesn't necessarily mean they're actually going to do it. So it kind of begs the question, well, what is the actual point?
And it's like,
Exactly.
no matter what they do change or attempt to make any difference, someone is still getting screwed somewhere. You know, like, this is the. We want nobody to suffer more for this. In fact, we want people to live better, more substantial, fulfilled lives.
Yeah. It feels a lot like damage limitation. And co-production, it isn't. I don't think I mentioned, what is the purpose of the Tim's review?
It's, well, according to the terms of reference, it's to review how assessments are done for PIP, how PIP payments are made. I think they have said now that the financial element will be taken out of it. So I think basically they're just now going to be looking at how the assessments are done. And yeah, I mean, as we know, the assessments for PIP are at the minute they're a nightmare. You know, you can be waiting months and months to get the assessment, and when you do have the assessment, they can be so traumatizing and so distressing that a lot of people are put off from applying for PIP because of what you've heard about
that, and the fact that we've heard from people that have done that, assessors that are hired to do these assessments on people to decide if they qualify for disability benefits, typically aren't even properly or if at all trained. They're just random people that they give the job to.
Damn right.
And then there's the targets as well.
Yes.
They've all these targets to meet, saying, you know, X amount of people are going to say yes to X amount of people who say no to, because, you know, I know someone that has done that, and we're like, I'm not doing this anymore. This is awful. You know, having to turn people away that clearly need it, but because they've got to meet a target, it's insane.
Can I just interrupt the show? Somebody has posted, Disability Rebellion are amazingly good eggs. X is a cesspit, but it's important the disabled community keep being vocal and advocating for each other. Only way to fight back. I love you guys, and
We love you too.
Look at that, you got a fan club. So, what can we do regarding the Tim's review? Do we do nothing? Do we moan about it?
Well,
Do we?
I was just gonna, I suppose, like, talk about adult disability payment in Scotland.
Yeah. Oh, of course, yes, Siobhan, a completely different thing.
Because obviously Scotland was previously under the whole PIP thing, but now obviously they've evolved and they've taken on their own through Social Security Scotland. And yeah, I believe that it's, I mean, a lot of it's pretty similar. You know, obviously the point system, the kind of questions that you get asked, but from, you know, kind of speaking to people as well, that it's definitely not as stringent as the PIP process. I think the way that they approach it seems to be a bit more in a supportive way, which is what it should be. And as far as I'm aware as well, they don't do face-to-face, like in-person face-to-face assessments.
Okay.
Generally, I think, you know, if you fill in the form and then you've sent your evidence, and if they need anything more, they'll give you a phone, or possibly, I think, they can maybe do a video call or something, but certainly not in person that I'm aware of anyway. So yeah, they seem to be doing it a bit better. I mean, I think the waiting times are probably still not great.
Okay.
I don't know if that's a lot of it is because, I suppose, the changeover, and then I don't know if more people are applying, but yeah, they seem to be doing a bit better.
It is interesting to know about obviously
Jessica.
different.
Yeah.
Sorry, go.
No, I was just going to say that I lived in Scotland for about 20 years, and the thing that stood out for Scotland, for me anyway, and Siobhan, you can tell me if I'm talking a load of bollocks, is that the government generally feels that it's of the people, for the people, that the government generally likes its people, whereas Westminster seems to find us all a bit inconvenient.
Oh God, I agree, right? And I'm not saying that because I'm being biased, you know, because I am Scottish and I've lived in Scotland all my life, but
Mm.
that is definitely the kind of the impression that you get. That if you don't live in London, yeah, they don't care about you.
Yeah.
But
Mm.
being in Scotland, it is so different. It does actually feel like they really try, and they do care at times. They may not always get it right, but I think that they do make that effort, and
Yeah.
you can just tell, like, these people that when all this shit goes down in England, that people are like, oh, I want to move to Scotland because, like, fuck that's awful. Like,
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
things, and even just things like, free prescriptions, and I know it's not necessarily free, but do you know what I mean? Like, it's not, you're not
Yeah.
having to go to the chemist every time and pay for your prescriptions all the time, and money that people don't have essentially sometimes. And yeah, it's I don't know. I think it's just so, sometimes feels like it's worlds apart.
Yeah.
And,
and,
tuition fees, yeah.
Yeah.
yeah. No, I was just going to say, I mean, in Wales we get free universal free prescriptions as well.
Okay.
And if we've got the Senedd elections coming up in May, and at the minute it's a two-horse race between Plaid Cymru and Reform, and a lot of people are praying, keeping their fingers, toes, whatever crossed,
Yeah.
in the hope that Plaid Cymru will get in. And one of the things that Plaid Cymru want to do if they get in is do similar to what Scotland have done and devolve
Yeah. Yeah.
the welfare system. And I think if if it's something that's done in Wales as well as it's been done in Scotland, it will make life a lot easier for the people in Wales.
It gives those of us in England more places to run.
No, what we didn't tell you, Jess, is that when Plaid Cymru do get into power and they devolve the benefit system, we're closing the borders.
Oh, Mike, we're coming to live with you, mate. Disability Rebellion at Mike's house.
So,
Nuts. It
I've just got-
begs the question, like, how shit things are.
yeah.
in
Yeah.
England, the fact that everyone's just sick of their shit, and the fact is, I think what is terrifying is the fact that people are sick of this sort of Labour conservative kind of narrative over the years, that they want something different, but the only thing really different is reform, which is even more terrifying. So it's like, where do you go? What do you do?
Yeah. Yeah.
You've not really got the best set of options here. So yeah, but it just
Yeah, thank you. So, G, I'm kind of aware that you're there, and I'm not totally sure. Oh, because I heard you laugh, and I thought, oh, we can hear you. So, is there anything you want to add to the conversation so far?
I broke earlier, so I don't even know what's been happening. So,
Some stuff.
yay!
Yeah, we've been talking about the history of Disability Rebellion. We talk about PIP, talk about the Timms report. We've been talking about how Scotland and Wales are much better than England, and especially now that Scotland beat England at rugby. So, Siobhan, this brings you back in. I know you don't like rugby, but
and yeah, and we're in the World Cup.
yeah, and we're in the World Cup. So, any comments on any of those things, G?
Well, you've given me new places to move to, so that's one thing.
Yeah. So, any thoughts on the Timms review, or on PIP in general, or how we're treating disabled people, and that kind of malarkey?
I've got some words about PIP as someone who claims it myself.
Yeah.
It took us like 6 months to fill in one form for PIP. We
Right.
had to keep asking for extensions. It's that bad,
Yeah. Yeah.
quite honestly.
Yeah. It seems that they want you to prove that you have a disability, but the actual act of completing the form would prove that you don't have that disability.
Yeah.
It feels like sort of infinity. The thing that from the discussion so far is it feels like we're firefighting. It feels like as soon as one thing happens, another thing crops up, and it feels like we're constantly trying to put fires out. How can we be proactive?
I think what we've got to do is, I mean, for example, last year when all the PIP and universal credit stuff was going on, the government released that many different papers all at once,
Yeah,
and that started so many different fires. And I think what we've got to do is sort of like look at all the fires that are burning and pick which is the biggest fire and fight that one, because I think the government were hoping that they'd swamp the activists, death by paperwork, and we just wouldn't be able to fight fires. And I think that's what we've got to do. I think we've got to start looking at which is the biggest fire and which one are we're going to be attempting to put out.
okay, so go for the biggest fire.
I think what some, what other people could possibly do, especially, people in the different communities, is to get involved. It seems big and scary, and it is big and scary because there's a lot to do, and a lot of it, we've got different people involved that understand different segments of it. We're not all entirely clued up on everything because no one ever will be.
No.
But we need people to keep going, keep fighting, and just get involved in any which way that you can.
Yeah,
Yeah,
brilliant.
I mean the amount of people that have come to us and said that you've helped me find my voice, because prior to you guys, they were they were too scared to say anything,
Yeah,
and just us being in existence has helped that person to find their voice and to start standing up for themselves and other disabled people.
yeah. Thank you. I think, I think that's one of the things about being disabled or having a mental health problem, or whatever you care to call that, is that feeling of isolation, where you're treated as if you're some kind of pariah. What other folk? What are you thinking about? Should we be focusing on putting out the fires, and as Mike said, putting out the biggest fire, or is there any scope to? And I'm just looking for ideas that I'm going to steal then and claim as my own, obviously. Any ideas for being proactive and just starting out and saying, right, this is what we're going to do. We're not reacting to that fire. We're going to ignore the fire. I know my house is burning down, but I'm ignoring the fire. But this is what we need to do as a community.
We need to simplify the papers that are coming out, and because they're hundreds of pages of jargon that nobody understands except those who have written the reports.
Yeah.
And I think therefore there's a lot of confusion about, is this going to affect me, or am I going to have my PIP taken away from me, or universal credit? And it puts a lot of people with disabilities under a lot of stress and anxiety because they don't know if they're going to be able to afford to pay their bills at the end of the month.
Yeah.
And so having a way, I have no idea how, but a way of being able to simplify all of the papers that are coming out, the government papers, and making it easier for people who,
Well, wouldn't it?
like me, who don't
Wouldn't it be
understand
great if
jargon.
you could have something like, I don't know, we could invent something called a lived experience practitioner, who could be involved in these strategic positions that go, hang on, guys, this is utter bollocks. How do you expect anybody to understand that?
Yeah,
But yeah, Siobhan.
Just like we spoke before about how even just getting into those positions is inaccessible
Yeah,
because of the language that they use, or even just the fact that the way that interviews are carried out, or the way that people are recruited, like, it's not accessible. So until we start looking at that, changing that accessibility, and people with sort of lived experience are not going to be up at the top,
No.
helping make these decisions.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's difficult.
Yeah.
And, I mean, it's another genius idea for you. How about we come up with something called Easy Read?
No,
Yeah.
that sounds insane. How would that ever work? But it's interesting that the things that exist aren't being used. It's maddening.
Yeah, well, I know there was. I can't remember which consultation it was now because there's been that many that have come out over the last few months. But there was one where they released the consultation, and then 12 weeks later they decided, oh, perhaps we better release it in an easy read format and BSL formats and this format.
I'm aware of this, but I've forgotten what it is. But it's a really important consultation form.
It was, yeah.
I remember
Rats.
this happening.
Yeah. But it's so common that this happens. So, I mean, going back to what Siobhan said about accessibility of employment, essentially, lived experience practitioners seem to be being employed by the same people who gatekeep services. So, so we have to jump through the hoops that they provide to get, which is absolutely bizarre. And we have to have computers that can work Teams, and a lot of people just don't have that. So, we've just lost Jessica. Jessica's just come back again. Oh, that's good. So, so Jessica, just back to you. With the ideas that I'm stealing, I'm thinking grassroots. I'm thinking something that is proactive as opposed to reactive. You have any thoughts on that? Oh, you've gone quiet on me. I've lost you. Oh, you're back. Oh,
Can you hear me
we can.
now? Good. Okay. It's difficult because without knowing, obviously, how much we're capable of, how much other people are capable of,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
you know how we. But I think it's the main thing to do is essentially what we're doing now, which is brainstorming ideas.
Yeah,
And I think that's how we come up. And I think there's different things that we could do. We could set up some kind of positivity, motivational
yeah.
kind of.
I think what you've done, and I've just had a quick post here that's it's saying, "Sir, you're doing a great job. Keep it up." So that's clearly going to you guys, saying what you're doing is great. So, maybe this world where I'm saying, we need to be proactive, maybe just being reactive in this current war zone that we find ourselves in, is the way ahead. Do you have any thoughts on that, G?
I've seen so many different ideas that people have had, but I feel like everything just needs to come together into one easy, accessible thing.
Yeah.
Because there's just so much everywhere where it should all just be in one place. Because I find it hard finding support for things or help and stuff like that, or motivation. So it just needs to get together.
And I think communities like this, I mean, I find them really energizing. I think it just, you kind of feel that you've got a home somewhere.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think this podcast and different things like that are really one thing that Disability Rebellion hasn't ever really touched, which could go towards obviously making things more easy to understand when it comes to the reviews and things like that. Some kind of a series, whether it be a video series or a podcast series, to help and maybe even describe and talk through some of the things in an easier way for people.
Sure. I don't know anybody who does podcasts, so I can't help you there.
I have a few minute time left, but I was just curious. So just sort of move on a little bit. I was just
Yeah.
about I guess Nimbus.
Nice.
And kind of Yeah.
Yay.
Tell us a bit about that.
Woo!
Uh,
Good sound there, G. Good sound. Yeah.
yeah, well, I mean, the background is that you know, a lot of the venues like you know, Alton Towers, Legoland, Chessington Park, you know, a lot of these places have now turned around and said that you know the only thing that we'll accept to give you a ride access pass or a queue jump pass is the Nimbus access card, and you know, okay, it works for some people, but there are a lot of people out there that don't want to have to go through filling out yet another form, going through yet another assessment with Nimbus, just to be able to do something that an able-bodied person can just go and do.
Which, just to touch on that, one thing that has been brought to our attention is that the form to fill in for a Nimbus card there's no save and complete later option. So you're either doing it all now, or you ain't doing it at all, or you know, if your internet refreshes or you get a call like just happened to me, then you're done for.
Hmm.
That's shit, isn't it? I mean,
Yeah.
I just like to intercede with, what the fuck, really?
Yeah.
But,
yeah,
so you met up with the Nimbus dudes?
yeah, we did. We had a meeting with Martin Austin, who's the managing director, and Mark Briggs, I think his surname was, who's the partnerships director yesterday. And basically, at the start of the meeting, they tried the tactic of death by PowerPoint
Harsh.
to possibly consume as much time of the meeting as they possibly could.
Right.
And eventually, one of our admin sort of interrupted and said, "Look, you know, it's good to have the background, but can we ask our questions now?" You know, when we did ask our questions, they came across as very defensive, and you know, our card is the best thing since sliced bread, and
We don't approach venues. Venues come to us and beg us for use of our card.
So what can we do? It says,
They apparently don't encourage venues to only accept their cards, but they don't seem to be doing much in the other way.
no, and I mean, you know, we published the full transcript of our meeting
Right.
online
Okay.
this morning, and some of the feedback we've had on that, and you know, people are just not surprised at how Nimbus were during that meeting. We have sent them all the questions that we collated from people,
Yeah.
and they have said that that they'll provide a response to all those questions. So we're going to hold them to that.
Yeah.
It should also say in the transcript that we did ask, because people have asked us, we thought this was going to be disabled people meeting with Nimbus. We did then express that the five of us are in our own individual ways disabled,
Yeah.
but we wanted to open it up to more people, and it will be in the transcript that we did ask about that. And Martin was very, very adamant he didn't want to do that. He did express quite a lot how the negative tweets on Twitter, and some of them might have been nasty. I personally didn't look at those, but I don't know. So he was reluctant to actually meet with more disabled people than just us, which we kind of felt was a bit like, don't put more barriers in your own way when it comes to your clientele.
So when you say you got the feeling, I mean, death by PowerPoint, really, yeah, that rings true for so many things I've been. Sim, Siobhan, what are you thinking?
Where can we access this transcript? I'd be interested in
Yeah.
a bit more about that, how that went.
Oh, yeah, it's there. We've also got a video recording of the whole thing.
Nicely done.
Nice.
Nicely done.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. I'm happy to send the transcript through to Chris, and he can
yeah, I can
send it
share.
down to Siobhan and
Yeah,
Sim.
absolutely.
Yeah, that'd be really great. Sim, any thoughts?
Again, I want to say, I'm shocked, but I'm not shocked at these attitudes because
Yeah.
that's been I think all of our lives. But like those attitudes, they don't seem to be changing,
Oh, jeez.
and
Yeah.
they don't. So, for me, I've become very numb to these sort of conversations because I'm just not surprised anymore. Because I expect those sort of reactions, and it shouldn't be that way. But unfortunately, I've been involved in so many of those conversations, and you feel like you're going 2 steps forward and then
Yeah.
a billion steps back in the process.
So in an ideal world, how should this look? We go to a theme park, we have an invisible disability, we have a visible disability. How should we be able to access rides?
Well, a huge misconception was that it was all just about queue jumping, but a lot of it isn't. You don't actually get to jump any queue. You just get put in a virtual queue where you can go somewhere else and
Right,
be at peace with whatever your needs are, whilst you're then and then you can then approach when it's closer to your time.
Right.
Everyone that has a disability should have access to that, no matter what kind of disability you've got.
Yeah.
We're all equal, we all have needs, and all of those needs should be met because we've all got different levels of need, and it should all be adequately met for everybody.
Yes. So what was the setup before this all kicked off?
Well, I mean, beforehand, you could go on to say, for example, go onto the Alton Towers website,
Yeah.
upload a copy of your personal independence payment award letter,
Okay.
and that would be fine. Or if you needed a free carer ticket, you could
Right.
upload their copy of their carers allowance letter, and that would be fine. But now they've decided that oh no, we need this Nimbus card now. We need little symbols on a card to show what accessibility needs people need. I mean, for example, if somebody turns up in a wheelchair, it's obvious that person is going to need level access. You don't need a picture of a wheelchair on a card to show that person needs level access.
A huge part of the controversy was that, and it's funny that I mentioned this, Wes Streeton earlier, and his entire ideology behind autism and ADHD, because a huge backlash was that Nimbus, well, it came out that it was Merlin Entertainment, then it was Nimbus, and everyone was passing the blame back to each other. We're trying to say that people with autism and ADHD don't or do not always require this feature, which obviously, I mean, you don't know that, and unless you go into really specific and uncomfortable detail with people, you're not gonna know that. As someone I'm neurodiverse myself, and as raised a child with neurodiversities, no one knows his needs, and they don't need to.
No.
So they had something that was working, and then they added an extra layer of what the fuckery. And now we're back to square one, are we? Where things are more accessible again, or what?
Well, I think in some ways it's made it more inaccessible for people. People, because like they say, they've got to apply for this card, and then you can either pay £15 for 3 years, and that covers you for anything.
Yeah.
You don't have to fill out any forms ever again for that 3 years.
Right, great.
Or there's the free access pass, where say you want to go to Alton Towers 1 week, and then Legoland the following week, but you don't want to pay the £15. You've then got to fill out a form for Alton Towers, and then fill out another one for Legoland. So you're having to do twice the amount of work to go to 2 different venues. And as Jess said, the fact that it hasn't got a feature where you can save the form, it just puts a lot of people off.
Madness. Siobhan, reflections on that?
I think, I mean, certainly, like, you know, touch wood, I've had quite a positive experience with the Nimbus card
Okay.
stuff. And yeah, I liked the fact that, yeah, okay, maybe not so much the paying for it part, but I did like the fact that I could just do it once, you know, upload what I need to, get what I needed, and then that's it. 3 years, you know, and I've used it multiple times now, and it's been fine.
Yeah, yeah.
So, you know, I do like that idea, but yeah, if it's the, yeah, and I think I initially applied for the free one right at the beginning when I was going for one, and yeah, I don't like the fact that then you'd have to then fill something else out again and then again. And yeah, and obviously because it's free and we don't have to pay for that, obviously people are going to want to do that, especially if they can't afford money to pay for the, you know, the 3-year one. But it's, I think the fact that, so yeah, I think the actual concept of it's really good, but it can't be the only thing that's accepted
Yeah.
as well as evidence. Do you know what I mean?
And there's people that have had really good experiences with it, and we do
Yeah, yeah,
value
yeah.
that. I think we did have one follower tell us that the questions that they got asked were quite personal.
Yeah.
No, I
yeah.
think that obviously will also depend on what kind of situation you're in. And I think that to some people that can just be a bit too much.
Yeah, very much.
And you say about questions like in like at the venue, like the environment that they were going to, or like, where were they being asked these personal questions?
Well, a lot of the personal questions are being asked by Nimbus themselves.
Right.
I mean,
right.
we had one person that came through to us, and she said that she was asked to describe her toileting needs in great detail.
Wow.
And you know, why do they need to know that?
No. I don't get it. I don't. So, I think there's a lot we could be talking about more, and I haven't heard from G for the past couple of minutes because you vanished there for a second. Any thoughts on Nimbus there, G?
I like the concept of it. It's just the presentation of it just kind of fell a
Yeah.
little bit,
Yeah.
and it just needs to be handled a lot more. I know there's some cards that have a great system in what they do,
Yeah.
and yeah.
My concern is that this kind of fitted into the rhetoric that too many people are being, that ADHD has been overdiagnosed and autism has been overdiagnosed, and it felt like everybody's getting a ticket to get ahead of people in a queue. And we did a show a little while back to say, in Scotland, certainly in Tayside, nobody's been diagnosed with ADHD. So these are crazy old times we're living in. I'm afraid we're kind of careering towards the end, and because it's our show, we can do what the fuck we like. But I suppose it'd be polite to start winding up here. Is there anything you'd like to say that we haven't spoken about, guys? Is there any burning things you'd like to bring up?
I mean, I'd like to ask a question. Because I think one of the things we are obviously so keen is to get people on board and to get people involved in what we're doing as well. And yeah, I'm just curious as to kind of how you have managed to kind of do that so far.
I think just by being vocal on social media and people seeing us there on social media as picked up on our following, and one of the things that really got people's attention was when we started doing the Hall of Shame and the Hall of Fame
Yes.
on Twitter, and people were just drawn to that because we were You know, we were calling out MPs, we were calling out the media.
And they were getting involved and giving us people to call out to, and that was a massive help.
Yeah, yeah. It feels like people have got a town square where they can really sort of yell what's important to them. So no, I really like that. I see it. Well, I always you're my go-to people on X. I like to visit there. I think we've got a lot to learn from you, and I really love what you're doing. Just to wind up, then, if you want to talk about making podcasts, then you know where I am. I can, you can see Sim and Siobhan going, "Oh, Jesus Christ, no, please stop."
No more.
I can bore people shitless on that topic forever.
I was going to say, how many podcasts now is it?
Sufficient amount of podcasts. Thank you. There's no such thing as too many podcasts. For goodness sake, don't judge me. But yeah, you're right. I need a hobby. Okay.
You very clearly have one.
All right, guys. I'm going to say thank you so much for coming on. I'm going to ask you to hang around for a little while because it takes a little while for all the videos to upload into the wonderful world of Riverside. But yeah, thanks ever so much for coming on. It's been an absolute pleasure, and hopefully we can catch up with you guys again.
Thank you for having us, and thank you everyone else. Thank you to Siobhan and to Sim.
Okay, brilliant seeing you guys. Okay, bye for now.
Bye for now, thank you.